What's up, guys? Iceman here. Welcome to Diablo 4. So I decided to make a Necromancer. My druid got his ass kicked. Got slaughtered in the Capstone dungeon. I almost completed it. I destroyed the Revenant things, and then I destroyed the 3 or 4 bosses in a row, and then I did the part where you have to slay all the enemies. So I accomplished all that at level 50. And then I made it to the final boss, and he got his little tail swatted. So as far as I see it, my druid sucks big you-know-what. And I was insistent to remain as the Storm Druid, and I never once used an aspect from either dungeons or legendary items, and imprinted them on my items. I was just too cheap. But at this point, I wanted to try the Necromancer because I'm familiar with the Necromancer with D2, and I love having summons. I love having my homies, my hombres. So that's what I decided to do here, because in Diablo 2, of course, there's not really a viable summoner. You can have all your skeletons around, but they're just there to be meat shields, basically, and you have to corpse explosion and everything. And that's the only way to have a viable summoner, is basically 99% of your damage is from your corpse explosion. And, of course, I wanted a summoner who skeletons can actually do damage, can actually kill shit. And fortunately, that's what we get in Diablo 4. But check this out. This is World Tier 2. And I'm going to get this character up higher, then I can start doing World Tier 3. Because she is doing quite well. And I like kind of the aesthetic here. I wouldn't mind if there's a bit more to offer in terms of changing their aesthetic and their face and their armors and all that. But we'll see. Actually, gotta pause the video real quick. Somebody just showed up. Alright, welcome back to the spiritual journey. It was just my Vayman, returning home from yoga. But, yeah, what's nice about this Necromancer in Diablo 4 is you can be the embodiment of, I think, what was fantasized for Diablo 2, where you wield a big-ass scythe. You can reap and kill your enemies with it, while at the same time, your summons help you, and they actually do damage. You know what I mean? And you could even have some curses as well. You're like the jack of all trades, and that's what I'm going for here. Let's check this out. I curse them. And look at how viable... Oh my god. Look at how viable they are. So I have 5 warriors and 3 mages. Let's see how well they can just do on their own. Oh my god, it is so good compared to the druid. Because I did make the druid, of course. It's my first character. And I was hoping there would be a viable summoner, but unfortunately I just don't think that's the case. In terms of the druid class. The summons are pretty much there for their active skill, which has a cooldown, and it's just like a little nuke skill is all it is. So, this is an actual summoner. And every time I use a corpse when they're all alive, it actually heals them for 10%. But, oh my god, look at this. This character is pretty much already better than my druid. Level 24. Oh. And at level 25, I can get Golem. I did that in the beta. I can't remember if it takes up a skill slot or not. I think it might. I'm hoping it doesn't. But it probably does, right? But I just don't remember at this point. But nonetheless... Oh, I opened up Cold Mages. You gain 2 essence? You gotta be kidding me. Every time they attack with a primary attack? Okay. So let's try out the Cold Mages. Well, yeah, it's been a damn good time. But particularly what's interesting of what I wanted to point out in this video is how, as mentioned, you can actually fight with your summons. If you want. Because what I used for my basic skill... of course, it was tempting to go a different route, to be like a ranged class of a sort. Bone Splinters, I think, is a ranged skill. Hemorrhage, I'm not sure what that is. I need to try these things out. But I decided to go with Reap. Just the classic scythe-swinging Necromancer that we never really got to play in Diablo 2 because it just wasn't viable. It completely sucked. You basically wanted to use a wand and a shield of some sort, or a monster head in your offhand to make it viable. But no longer the case in Diablo 4. So Reap, and I only have 1 point into it, and it still does quite well. Generates 4 essence per enemy hit, and it's a darkness skill, which is very important to note when you're trying to synergize it, because I have synergized it in a few different ways. Sweep an ethereal scythe in front of you, dealing 41 to 50 damage. Hitting an enemy with Reap increases your damage reduction by 15% for 2 seconds. So it knows you're getting up in their grill, and you're not necessarily a tank class. So what it does when you're using Reap is it offers some damage reduction. So you just keep hitting them. The more you hit them, the longer you can maintain that damage reduction. As you can see here, it lasts for 2 seconds. So as long as you keep hitting them, you're going to maintain that. And then I have it modified with Enhanced Reap. If an enemy hit by Reap dies within 2 seconds, you gain 30% attack speed for 3 seconds. So the faster, or the more you kill things, the faster you attack. And you can maintain that attack. It's just amazing how incentivized you are to keep swinging that shit while your summons are active, killing things as well, and while you're cursing enemies, and maybe even using an essence demanding skill, which I am, and I'll show you that in just a minute here. Acolyte's Reap. Reap forms a corpse under the first enemy hit. Can only occur every 5 seconds. So if you're CE, Corpse Explosion, obviously that's going to be a great synergy, but I'm kind of trying to stay away from Corpse Explosion. But here's something I'm using rather. It's called Blood Surge. It's pretty much the Necromancer's Nova. And I will showcase that more in a future video. But here's some Reap. Let's check it out. Let's curse the enemy first. Just check out the reach on that side. Actually got frozen. Alright, what shrine is this? I almost want to avoid it. Oh my god, killing my summons. Come on, buddy. So I did get the shrine. And when you get this shrine as the Necromancer, if you're in... My Iron Maiden curse is free to cast. You can just keep casting it on enemies, and that shrine will... See, look at this. It's like an aerial attack or something. Shrine's going now. And here's this new skill that I just learned, Army of the Dead. So let me showcase that. Where these minions, they call forth the deep, buried dead. Volatile skeletons emerge over the next 7 seconds that explode when around enemies, dealing 151 to 185 damage. And it has a 70-second cooldown. And I modified it. When Army of the Dead, volatile skeletons explode, they have a 15% chance to leave behind a corpse. So another corpse explosion synergy. But then again, as mentioned, the more I redeem corpses, even if all my minions are alive, the more essence I generate. And in addition to that, the more my Army of the Dead is healed. Or the more my skeletons are healed, rather. So, and then the final modifier, Army of the Dead, also raises your skeletal warriors and skeletal mages. So let's see what it does. I have it modified twice here. I don't want to just use it on one guy. Here we go. I'll use it right here before my skeletons get here, so we can kind of see what it does. Oh my god, it's awesome. And it's cool how, see, they actually seek out enemies. They run towards enemies. Like the druid, I have his Cataclysm skill, which I really like. But the problem is it's just so chaotic, and it often doesn't hit things. Whereas Army of the Dead, they fall to the ground, and then they chase after and hone in after enemies, and attack them that way. So it's a very practical skill, and I'm thinking I'm going to stick with it for a little while. But I do appreciate you guys coming by and watching this video. Let me know what your thoughts are so far on Diablo 4. Are you enjoying it? Are you having a good time? What class are you playing as? Let me know in the comments below. Like this video if you will. Subscribe to the page. And I'll be talking to you guys in my next video. Appreciate you. Here's an elite. Yeah, I definitely have some modifications I have to make on this character. But that's fine. It's been a pretty damn good time. And yeah, these summons, it's nice to finally have some viable summons. Because the droid, I just did away with them at level like 15. I was like, screw this. These things really suck. They of course can work with, as like modifiers in terms of your gear will offer modifications such as if you have X amount of companions out, you'll do more damage, so they can help you in that way, but their damage alone has just, it just hasn't been worth it. It's horrible. But yeah, so I'm going to really buff up these skeletons and try to get this army up and be mostly a summon Necromancer and see how that works out. So I'll talk to you guys later. Peace be with you.